A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
In just a moment, X-1, but first, a quiz program does not always improve your IQ. But when it's an NBC radio quiz program, you can be sure it will improve your disposition. Yes, NBC offers listeners a laugh session every Wednesday night with 2 fun-filled question-and-answer shows. One is Truth or Consequences, and though you may never learn why a chicken crosses the road, you'll howl as contestants perform the stunts dreamed up by MC Jack Bailey. The other is You Bet Your Life, and with a quizmaster like Groucho Marx, your good time is always guaranteed. Hear Truth or Consequences and You Bet Your Life tomorrow. Now stay tuned for X-1 on NBC. X-1 in 1 minute. This week is Military Reserve Week. If you're a young man between the ages of 17 and 18 and a half, you can fulfill your military obligation with only 6 months of active duty. You need no longer ask yourself, when will I be drafted? By joining the 6-month reserve training program, you become draft exempt and can plan your future with confidence. You are paid for your service while in training. You may be able to pick the exact job you want, depending upon your aptitudes and Army vacancies. You may enlist in the program and then receive a deferment until you have finished high school. Your training will teach you to protect yourself and your family in any emergency. The training builds you physically, and the technical skills you learn can help you later in your civilian career. There are many other big advantages for you in the 6-month training program. Visit your Army Reserve Center for all the facts about your big opportunity in the 6-month training program. Learn how you can plan your future with confidence.
The book says, when the ship shall enter into the orbital pool of its destination, the motors will change in sound due to the increased anti-gravity components. A study is being made to interpret the meaning of the word destination, which was lost some 4,000 years ago and has always been a subject for much controversy. But this need not concern you. Suffice to be reassured that the change in the sound of the motors is a part of the scheme of things. Return to the schedule. The ship is all. Praise the ship.
The ship is all. Praise the ship.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire.
From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in 1,000,000 could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X-1.
Tonight, The Sense of Wonder by Milton Lesser.
The huge ship sped endlessly through space on a voyage that had lasted 10,000 years, the journey which had no end. And for those aboard her, there was no other universe. To them, the ship was all. The ship is all. Rykud read the slogan embossed in raised letters of steel outside the door to the priest's compartment. The ship is all. His eyes wandered to the face of the young man standing next to him, his superior, Kreifer. The face had the empty, unquestioning expression that was typical of the people of the ship.
Are you ready, Kreifer?
I am. Enter.
Go in.
Well?
I am Kreifer. Superior class, 3rd level, compartment Y51.
Welcome.
This is my attendant, Rykud.
Be welcome. Praise the ship.
Praise the ship.
What is your mission?
My superior's schedule shows that today he is 25 units of age. He is ordered to appear before the priest of the third level to be given a woman.
You have the schedule with you?
Here.
Good. You have your certificate of health and fertility?
Show him the certificate, Riker. Don't just stand there dreaming.
Oh, yes. Here.
Good. Return to your compartment. I will have the matron bring you a woman from the fourth level. Praise the ship.
Praise the ship.
Kreiper returned to his compartment, followed by Reichert. There was no questioning in the mind of either of them. At birth, each of the people was classified as a superior or an attendant, and the coded marking of his schedule was tattooed down his right arm. Both of these young men were 25, strongly built, and tanned from constant exposure to the health rays in the ship's conditioning room. Kreiper wore the loose-fitting robe of a superior. Reichert wore the tight trousers and shirt of an attendant. They entered the comfortably furnished compartment.
Kreiper.
Yes.
What do you suppose she'll be like?
What difference does it make?
Don't you even wonder about it?
I wonder about nothing. The ship is all. Praise the ship.
Well, naturally, but still...
We've been together as superior and attendant ever since the nursery. As an attendant, your entire purpose in life is to keep me alive and productive, to perpetuate the people. I would hate to have to part with you now.
To part with me?
Not of my own choosing, of course, but sometimes I detect what appears to be a strain of unorthodox thinking.
Really? I was not aware of it.
I am not entirely aware of it myself. Not enough for me to report you. However, I must warn you that if it should increase, I will have to send you for therapy.
Well, I assure you there'll be no need for that. I've never deviated from the schedule. I have never disobeyed the buzzer.
I am merely observing, asking questions like, don't you even wonder this is the first step to unorthodoxy?
I shall watch myself for signs of it.
Good. The eating buzzer.
Your schedule calls for a massive dose of multivitamins.
Fine. Prepare it in the green vegetables today.
Today is a starch day.
Oh, I'd forgotten.
We could just skip it today.
Riker.
Well...
Of course, skipping the vitamins for one day is a permissible deviation, but I shall have to report for punishment tomorrow.
Well?
Skip the vitamins.
I knew we would. You've never missed a permissible deviation yet.
It's your influence that makes me do it.
And you always blame it on me.
That's what attendants are for.
Yes, I know.
That must be the matron with the woman. Open the door. Maintain the utmost dignity, please.
Yes?
Is this the compartment of Kreifer, third level, Y51?
Yes.
I am matron of the woman's level.
Enter. I am Reichert, Kreifer's attendant. This is Kreifer.
I have brought a mate for you. This is she.
Be welcome. Praise the ship.
Praise the ship.
Her name is Aylin.
Welcome, Aylin.
I am most happy to be here. Praise the ship.
Come. I will show you which compartment is to be ours. This way. There are 5 compartments in this suite, and ours will be...
Will you take food, matron? Why do you look at me that way?
That mark on your forehead. You have always had such a mark?
Yes.
And you have another diamond-shaped on your right shoulder?
How could you know such a thing?
Your name is Reichert.
Reichert.
How like him you look.
How like whom?
Your father.
My what?
Of course, you could not know the meaning.
What do you say?
When you were born, like any of the people of the ship, you were taken immediately and placed in the nursery of the ship. You never knew who sired you, nor did they know you.
Naturally. It's according to the schedule.
Yes, it's according to the schedule.
I have a strange feeling toward you. I can't explain it.
What sort of feeling, Reichert?
As if we've met before. But that's impossible, of course.
Yes. Still, there have been cases, it is almost heresy to mention it, where a mother has been able to keep her child for a while.
Such a female would be turned over to the control chief and fed into the converter.
If she were discovered.
It is a criminal thing to do. It is said to warp the child so that he becomes a heretic at an early age.
Yes, it is very, very criminal.
Still, you say there have been cases.
Once there was a woman, it is said, an attendant, who managed to conceal such a child behind one of the forbidden doors for almost 3 years.
Behind the doors? It's unspeakable.
Very likely only a rumor.
It's shocking to hear of such things. Behind the forbidden door.
You're shocked, and yet something seems to stir deep in your memory, perhaps.
Nothing.
You're certain?
Why do you speak to me thus, woman?
Come closer.
What is it?
Closer. But there's no chance that we'll be overheard.
Well?
Rycord, you are that child.
I will not listen. I will not listen.
You are that child.
How could you know such a thing?
I am 70 units of age. 25 units ago, I was a matron of the nursery. This person came to me and told me of her child, which she had concealed in the space lock behind the forbidden door. She begged me to take it and place it in the nursery with the other children. I had been her attendant for many years, and we were close to each other. I did as she asked.
But are you certain this child was me?
I remember the marks upon it.
And I am doomed.
Why doomed?
I have known my own parent. This accounts for the strange feelings that come over me sometimes.
What feelings are those?
A feeling... a sense of wonder.
Oh.
You seem pleased.
Rycord.
What?
Your superior returns. I cannot speak. But if you would satisfy this sense of wonder, I have a book which I will give you.
I cannot accept a book without the supervision of the ship's librarian.
Take this one. Keep it concealed. Here.
Take
it quickly. They're coming.
Well, what are you two whispering about?
I was merely explaining to your attendant how he must behave in the presence of your mate.
There is no need to explain. All is scheduled. Nothing is questioned. Praise the ship.
Praise the ship. I hope that your union will produce the optimum number of children. I'll leave now.
Aylin.
Yes, Chrysler.
Your duties will be very simple. Rycord will teach you how to prepare my meals, and you will memorize my schedule. In 3 months, he will be freed from service as my attendant, and he will report to the second level to find a mate in the attendant class.
Yes, Chrysler.
It's time for my health treatment. Teacher Rycord.
Yes, Chrysler. Come here. Closer, where I may examine you. This is Chrysler's schedule. You will memorize it.
Yes.
Here is a list of permissible deviations.
Oh, I'm familiar with it, naturally.
I see. I was not aware of what training you received on the women's level.
The matron trained us well.
Good. You have been with the matron a long time?
Ever since I left the nursery.
I see. What is she called?
Mara.
Mara? Tell me, did she ever speak to you of a sense of wonder?
Are you of the control police?
Certainly not.
Then you should know better than to discuss feelings.
I'm sorry. I thought perhaps...
What's that?
The change bell. There has been some change.
It frightens me. Oh, what does it mean?
I don't know. I heard it only once before. When the ship passed very close to a red planet, there was a shower of stars, and the ship seemed to shake, and the change bell rang. We were all summoned to the priest and told that we must undergo a test for radioactivity.
What are we to do now?
Rycord, Aylin, quickly. It is the change bell. We are all summoned to the priest of our level. Quickly!
Within a few moments, the people of the third level of the ship were assembled in the area outside the compartment of Chul, the priest. They stood there trembling, listening, and panicked to the clangor of the change bell, not daring to wonder what it meant, but aware that something different had happened. Something different.
I'm frightened.
Hush! The priest is coming.
The ship is all. Praise the ship.
Praise the ship.
Listen to Chul, your priest. I have just been in contact with the chief priest of the ship. This is what I have been given to say. For 10,000 years now, ever since the ship began the voyage, which has no end, we have lived as one people following the schedule. In those years, the change bell has rung only twice. On one occasion, it was to announce a change in the schedule for the preservation of the people of the ship following the epidemic. On another occasion, the ship passed close to a radioactive explosion, and it was feared that we had become dangerously activated. Now the change bell has rung again. You wish to know the reason, naturally. I am given to tell you there has been a change in the sound of the motor. There is no cause for alarm. The priests have consulted the book, which no man may see save the high priest. And we have learned that there is in the book a provision for a change in the sound of the motors. The book says, when the ship shall enter into the orbital pool of its destination, the motors will change in sound due to the increased anti-gravity components. A study is being made to interpret the meaning of the word destination, which was lost some 4,000 years ago and has always been a subject for much controversy. But this need not concern you. Suffice to be reassured that the change in the sound of the motors is a part of the scheme of things. Return to the schedule. The ship is all. Praise the ship.
The ship is all. Praise the ship.
On his way back to his compartment, Rykud stopped for a moment in front of the forbidden door which led to no one knew what, and listened to the sound of the motors. Yes, it was true. There was a new sound. It was frightening, and yet at the same time it made Rykud's heart leap with expectation. He looked at the forbidden door again and read the warning.
No unauthorized persons permitted through this door.
Attendant?
Yes.
What's your name and compartment?
Rykud, attendant to Kryper, third level, Y51. Who are you?
Graf, control police. Why do you loiter outside the forbidden door?
I was merely reading the warning, trying to impress it upon my brain.
Is there a need to impress it? You have doubts?
Well, no. No, of course not.
Then why bother to impress it? If you have no doubts, there is no need to impress it.
Well, I was merely... You see, I am engaged in the training of a mate for my superior. I wish to make certain that she knows every jot and line of the warning.
Has she doubts?
I'm sure she does not.
Then why impress the warning upon her? It should be sufficiently impressed upon her since birth.
I was merely...
You were merely loitering, eh? Tell me, Rykud, do you ever wonder what is behind the forbidden door?
Never.
Are you perfectly content?
Perfectly.
Good. I'm going to enter your name in my report as a warning. See that it is not repeated.
I will see.
Return to your compartment.
I will return. Praise the ship.
Praise the ship.
Rykud went back to his own compartment. He tried to push the events of the day out of his mind. It was almost too much to cope with. First, the mate for Kryper, then the news of his birth, now the change in the sound of the motors, and the book. Rykud lay inside his bunk, drew the curtain, and took the tiny, ancient plastic book from his trouser belt. He opened it and began to read.
It was thought advisable to keep from the passengers on the ship the fact that their voyage might end in catastrophe. Forced to leave the Earth because of its radioactivity following the 3 wars, the inhabitants of the ship, to all intents and purposes, became the inhabitants of a new world. The ship was their world. The organizers of the expedition felt it would be cruel to inform them that the ship's navigation machinery had been set in a series of ever-increasing circles and then ever-decreasing circles, so that in 10,000 years the ship would return to Earth. There was the possibility that Earth would no longer exist, or that the radioactivity would have made it uninhabitable, even if the remaining humans hadn't managed to explode it. Therefore, the ship became all. Even the word destination was eliminated. If it were known that I had chronicled this account, I would most certainly be executed and the book destroyed. Most likely it will pass into legend and be disbelieved anyway, just as fairy tales and even biblical accounts have become tolerated but disbelieved by many who were...
The sleep buzzer sounded, and Rykud's eyes closed automatically. Ordinarily, the people of the ship did not dream. It was considered a sign that therapy was needed. Tonight, Rykud dreamed.
Rise. Dress. Eat. Raise the ship. Rise. Eat. Dress. The ship is all.
Rykud.
No.
Rykud.
What? Shh. What is it?
You've been dreaming. I heard you and came in to see what was troubling you.
Where's Kryper?
He sleeps like the dead.
I was dreaming. Ellen, look at me and tell me the truth. Do you ever dream? Do you?
Yes.
I knew it. I could tell it by looking at your eyes.
But you mustn't tell anyone.
I won't. You were very close to the matron, were you not?
Yes.
Did she ever read to you?
Read?
Did she ever read from this?
Where did you get that?
She gave it to me.
Then you must be one of the trusted ones.
Who are the trusted ones?
Some of us. The women who were with the matron since we were very small. We've been trusted by her to hear the reading of this book.
I see.
But if anyone found out...
I know.
Rykard?
Yes?
I feel very strange.
I, too.
What is it?
I don't know.
Sometimes, after the matron had read to us from the book, I would have this feeling, strange and frightened. And she would comfort us.
Comfort? What does that mean?
She would put her arms around us.
And did that comfort you?
Yes.
How terribly strange.
Rykard?
Yes?
Comfort me. Put your arms around me.
Helen.
Please, will you?
Yes. Yes, yes.
On the following morning, when Kreifer went to the conditioning room, as prescribed by the buzzer, Rykard drew Aylin over to the spaceport and slid aside the protective shield.
Look.
I am looking.
Tell me what you see.
I see the stars and space.
Look closely. Do you see nothing unusual?
I so seldom look through the spaceport.
I'll tell you then. Look there. See that one star, so big and so bright that it hurts your eyes?
Well?
I've been watching it. It is growing larger each hour.
Stars do that.
Never has one been this large.
What difference does it make? The stars exist only as pictures in the glass of the viewport. They're not real. The ship is all.
That is what we are told, but perhaps it isn't true.
What?
Perhaps these stars do not exist only in the glass of the viewport. Perhaps they exist beyond the viewport.
I don't understand.
Let me say it this way once and forever. Perhaps, Aylin, the ship is not all.
Rykard, your heresy frightens me. Rykard, hold me close. It frightens me even to look at you. Oh, Rykard, you mustn't even think it.
I do think it. I believe it. I believe the ship is not all.
And I believe you are a candidate for the converter.
Kreifer.
Don't move, Rykard, or I'll blast you into dust. It is bad enough for an attendant even to touch his superior's mate, but to couple it with the ultimate heresy. There is nothing but death in this.
Kreifer, I beg of you.
Stand aside, Aylin. I'm going to finish this heretic. Now, Rykard.
Have I killed him?
No, he's just stunned.
Oh, Rykard, what can we do?
I don't know.
Rykard, the change bell again. Something's happening.
I know what has happened. Come, we'll go to the priest.
What about Kreifer? He'll have us killed.
No, it's too late to think of that. Come. To me, the priest is entering.
Silence! Once again, the change bell has sounded. There has been another change. Doubtless you all felt the shock and the vibration a moment ago. I am informed that the motors have stopped. Silence! However, once again, there is no need for any panic or alarm. We will continue to live our lives just as before. The only thing that has changed is that the motors have stopped and that the view in the viewports has changed. Behold. The view in the viewports has been changed from the stars to a garden. That is all there is to it. The book makes mention of the fact that the view in the viewports is changeable. Go back to your compartments and resume the schedule. The buzzer will be your guide as always. The ship is all.
The ship is all.
Wait! No, I have something to say. Listen, this is what I have to say. The ship is no longer all.
Seize him!
Keep back! I have my superior's ray gun. I will destroy any who move to seize me. Listen to what I have to say. The view in the viewports is not just a garden. It is the destination. It is the earth. Don't you understand me? We have arrived. We have reached the destination. The journey is over. We can leave the ship and go out into the garden. Fools, can't you understand? Watch the viewport. Watch it. The viewport is broken. I've shattered it. You could go out. Feel the air rush in. Smell its fragrance.
Why could they don't move? They don't understand.
Seize him! Kill the heretic! Kill him!
Why could they're moving toward us?
Run. Follow me quick.
After him! Death to the heretic!
Reichert and Aylin ran down the long steel corridor with the crowd on their heels. After a few moments, they came to the forbidden door of the control room.
Aylin, quick, in here.
Reichert, it's forbidden.
I'll have to blast the lock. Quickly, now come. Now, help me close the door. Now the bar. We're safe in here for a while. Not even the priest can make them come in here after us. It'll take them time to figure out what to do.
I could look. Look at the machinery. It's frightening.
We're in the control room. It tells about it in the book. You see this big machine here? There was a drawing in the book. This is the machine that controls the buzzer.
Just a simple machine like that?
Yes, a simple machine. Stand back.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to smash it. Now they're going to have to find a way to live without the buzzer.
Reichert, they're breaking down the door.
Come with me.
Where can we go? There's nothing except the ship.
No, there is more than the ship now, Aylin. There's the earth. The cool, green earth. I'm going to smash the viewport. Come on. We're going to leave the ship.
Reichert, I'm frightened. Put your arms around me.
There's nothing to be afraid of. Come, Aylin. Take my hand. Here is the earth. And it is ours.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features a story by F.L. Wallace titled Mesereau Loves Company. When Marcus Mesereau set out on his mission to Earth, he was driven by pride and indignation, plus a practical reason. But if he'd known what lay ahead, he might have decided to let bad enough alone. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you The Sense of Wonder, based on a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Milton Lesser and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were James Monks, Bill Quinn, Edwin Jerome, Vera Allen, Rita Lloyd, Joe DeSantis, and Dick Hamilton. Raymond Edward Johnson was the narrator. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Daniel Sutter and is an NBC Radio Network production.
The signal to submerge the magic island, the weird island of Euclidia. On board the Gregory yacht, Captain Bradford and Mrs. Gregory hurriedly transfer their valuables to the other captive boat, which is to be used in the escape, as they await anxiously for word from Jerry and Joan. The youngsters have gone down into the mysterious depths of the island in a brave attempt to cripple the Euclidean machinery and postpone pursuit of the Gregory boat. The boat is supposed to steal out of the lock at 8 o'clock. It is now after 7:30. How can Jerry and Joan get back to the yacht in time, if they get back at all? They are now making their way up a narrow and dangerous spiral concrete tube running from the top to the bottom of the island.
Are you doing all right, Joan?
I'm very tired, Jerry, but I will reach the platform.
Gee, we've climbed 50 feet up the inside of this cement baggage chute.
Not quite. It will be 50 feet when we get to that little platform.
Okay, kid. Don't lose your nerve. Now then, I've got my back braced against this thing. I think I can hold you. Let one of your feet slide. Slow now. Slide it down the wall and see if I can hold it with my hand.
I feel as if I would fall, Jerry. You must hurry.
I got your foot all right, Joan. Now, I'll push as hard as I can without sliding down this thing. You try to crawl up far enough to get your hands over the edge of the platform. Ready?
I nearly have it. Yes, I have my hands on it.
Good. Then start pulling yourself up as hard as you can. I'll help you.
I think I can get on it now. Oh, Jerry, I am up.
Oh, swell. Now, if I can only stick here like a fly until I get my breath, I'll see if I can get up there.
This platform is large enough for me to lie down on. I will lie flat and hold my arms down to you. Then I can help you up.
Yeah, if I don't pull you off of there and both of us shoot down this thing again.
Oh, Jerry, I have found a small concrete arch behind which I may hook my heels. So, now I will be able to hold you. Give me your hands. Don't be afraid, Jerry. I can hold you easily.
Okay. Now I get my elbow up on this thing. Here we come. Oh, boy.
Oh, that was a terrible experience. And we are only halfway up now. This platform is on the 5th level.
Well, then we'll just have to go out into the 5th level and take our chances with what we find there. Neither of us can make another 50 feet of that.
You are right. It would be impossible.
Our hands and feet are probably all cut up now. Climbing 50 feet in a concrete pipe with your bare hands and stocking feet doesn't put you in very good shape for more climbing.
I think we are in our bare feet now, Jerry. The stockings must be cut to ribbons.
Oh, can I turn my flashlight on for a minute? I want to see what shape we're in before we run out there. We can be ready to answer questions about what happened to us when we find out what did happen.
I think you may use the light, Jerry.
Okay. Oh, gee, Joan. Your feet are cut up awful bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, do not stop to be sorry now, Jerry. Listen.
Gee, they're still submerging this thing.
No, Jerry. They have not started to submerge it as yet.
But we heard the signal when we started to climb up here. And that must have taken us 15 or 20 minutes.
But the signal we heard just now, those 6 strokes on the alarm gong, means to stand by all stations to submerge. It must be that they are having trouble with the submerging operation.
Well, I hope we fixed up their old power plant so they can't ever submerge this crazy Euclidia again.
There is little hope there. It will be only a matter of time until they pump out the water that we let into the power chambers.
Then let's get going. We've got to make it to that radio room on the top and get a message off to Johnson before this goes under.
That signal to submerge will have taken all men to their stations, and there are no control stations in the sound channel. This platform opens off the sound channel. We will have to take a desperate chance, Jerry.
That won't be anything new for us. What is it?
We must cross the sound room and enter the private elevator of the control group.
Well, I'm ready to take the chance. Where will that elevator take us?
Directly into the voice transmission chambers on the surface of Euclidia. Then we will have to take over the controls and send the message.
Sounds easy. Okay, my little barefoot boy. Here we go.
Open the door gently, Jerry. Be sure that no one is in the sound chamber.
Yeah, check. Huh? No. Looks okay. I'm glad this is one of those noiseless doors.
Go on into the room, Jerry. We must hurry.
Yeah. Here we go, then. Now, where is that elevator?
In that corner of the room. We must pass through the sound zone. Do not shout as you did before.
Okay, I'll watch it. But what are we going to do if we find somebody waiting for us at the top of that elevator? Hey, listen to my voice.
Yes, Jerry. I warned you not to shout.
And now our bare feet sound like we had boots on.
We will be out of the zone in a few steps.
It'll be all right with me. I like noise when I want it, but when I'm trying to be quiet and... Hey, now the voice comes out right side up again.
And we are approaching the private elevator.
And when we get in this thing, can they hear our voices in the control room?
Certainly. We will be able to say nothing until we arrive in the control room on the surface level. Then I will speak to the guard, find some excuse to make him turn his back to me, and use the ray gun on him. That will give you 5 minutes to get the message to Johnson. Now open the door, Jerry.
Okay.
Speak no word until we meet the guard.
Yeah. You'd better run the elevator when we get in it. I never saw how this one works.
I shall do so. We may count the levels as we pass by the magnets moving the car. Now silence.
At which time you will report immediately to the control chamber. Station 91, Station 91. You will use all speed in discovering cause of delay in submerging. Check the entire 9th level by photo ray. At which time you will report immediately to the control chamber. Emergency diving stations. Signal to submerge. Repeat at 60-second intervals until operation begins. Signal stand by to submerge. Clear all channels to this chamber. Execute. What are you doing here, Cleostra?
I have come with this prisoner. He was given permission to go to the laboratory to aid in reviving the sleeping scientists. When we arrived at the laboratory, he refused. I was instructed to return him to the surface.
You young man, sit over there, in that steel chair. Not there. Over here. Must I put you in the chair?
Gee, you did it again, Joan. You're sure slick with that ray gun.
He will sleep for 5 minutes, Jerry. That is not long. We must operate the voice transmission apparatus at once.
Is he the only guard in this place?
In this room, yes. Though in the power dispatching chamber directly below us, another guard is on duty.
Well, wouldn't he hear this ray gun go off?
No. That door leads to his room. It is closed and soundproof.
This seems too easy to me. Is there always just one guard in these places?
Of course not. But the others are busy trying to revive the sleeping chemists and preparing to submerge the island.
Yes, but if
Oh, Jerry, please. This is no time to argue. I will set the transmitter on the northerly directional beam. We must raise Johnson at once. I will also close all these local communication circuits so that there is no danger of anything we say being heard elsewhere on the island. Oh, Jerry.
Huh? What's the matter now?
This microphone was open. The intercommunicating circuit to the lower levels.
Gee, then somebody might have heard that ray gun.
Yes. Hurry with the message, Jerry.
Well, where do I talk? I mean, where's the beam thing I want?
Directly in front of you now, Jerry. I will give you the message quietly. You may repeat it. Get any station quickly.
Right. Here we go. J12C, Jerry Hall to any station. Emergency. Can you hear me, Wilmington? Hurry it up. Hello, J12C. Hello.
Hello. Waiting for hours with set wide open. Shoot it fast. I'm ready.
Here it comes. Take it over, Joan. You can save time if I don't have to repeat it.
Joan Gregory to J12C. Message from Bradford. This is it. Every indication going have trouble. Possibly may feel unwise even leave free in this yacht. Many islanders lying enforced sleep. Doesn't indicate especially sincere enjoyment. Longer unusual silence envelops. Our waiting now. Perhaps later advice, nearer solution. That is all.
Right. Checking now. Your position sounds hopeless, but we'll let you know if I can contact the ship station. Anything else?
That is all.
Nice work, Joan. Johnson's got our message. But how far from the island is he? And how long will it take him to get here?
I have copied his answer. I think the captain will have a code for it.
Got your message here on the yacht. Good work, kids, but it's no use. They're pulling the yacht inside the lock again. And we're going to be submerged with the island. Better stay where you are. Dangerous to try getting back to yacht now.
We'll be all right here, Tex. We'll come through the island and meet you in the lock.
Right. Have cut Johnson's boat adrift. Orders from the island. Lock too small for 2 boats. So Johnson's boat is a total loss. Drifting out to sea.
The captain said they had cut the other boat loose, Jerry. And the yacht is being taken into the lock. Oh, that is wonderful.
You bet it's wonderful. Those guys don't know they're taking an empty boat into the lock. And that Captain Bradford and your mother and all our friends are on the boat they've turned loose. It's out in the open water now, Joan. The boat is free.
They've started to submerge, Jerry. In a moment, this room will be going underwater.
Then we'll swim for it. Come on, Joan. At least we can float, but Euclid is sunk.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P, Pep. Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Clark Kent, using his unusual powers as Superman, manages to turn up an important clue which may lead him to Jimmy Olsen.
Hello there, gang. This is your pal Dan McCullough. Say, have you noticed how you just naturally feel like cutting your family and friends in on the good eating you find in Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal? Sure, maybe you go into detail and tell how crisp and cool and crunchy Pep is. Or maybe you tell how those light, refreshing flakes of whole wheat tease and please your taste. And say, I'd sure like to be around when you tell about those swell prices you find in packages of Pep. I've got an idea. You'll say, Jeepers, are those Pep prices slick? And, of course, you'll tell about the 3 different kinds of prizes and how it's always a grand surprise to find out which one of the 3 you'll get in your next Pep package. How it could be a model fighting plane in colored cardboard, one of 7 great Pep planes you can collect. Or could be one of 24 new full-color bird pictures with a description on the reverse side so you can identify these birds in the air. Or could be one of 18 bright-colored comic buttons picturing a famous comic strip character. Swell for pinning on your jacket or your beanie cap. And say, while you're telling about those 3 kinds of Pep prizes, don't forget to ask Mom to bring home a supply of Kellogg's Pep for you.
Now, the Adventures of Superman. Believing that Private Detective Candy Myers had been beaten up and abducted because of his investigation of a recent subway disaster, Clark Kent searched for his friend, while Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane went to the scene of the disaster. They were leaving with samples of the rubble when Jimmy was seized, thrown into a car, and driven away. Hoping that Candy could furnish a clue to Jimmy's whereabouts, Kent redoubled his efforts to find the detective. Finally, a strange phone call from Candy Myers himself told Kent only that he was in a drugstore somewhere on Market Street. As Superman, Kent streaked above Market Street, and on a sidewalk outside a drugstore, he saw the sprawled, motionless figure of Candy. As we continue now, Superman has resumed his guise of Clark Kent, and having carried Candy into the back room of the drugstore, is standing by as Dr. Jacobs, a neighborhood physician who was hastily summoned, works over him. Listen.
Candy's moving his head, Doctor.
Yes, he's regaining consciousness.
Oh, good.
I hope as soon as you've questioned him, you'll persuade him to go home to bed, Mr. Kent. He's quite weak, apparently, from the terrible beating you say he got last night. That's why he fainted.
Yes, poor chap. Why he sounded so strange over the telephone. I don't think he knew what he was saying.
That's quite likely.
Oh, he is coming to. Candy. Candy.
He hasn't fully regained consciousness yet.
Where?
Will you hold his head up, please, Mr. Candy?
Yeah, sure. Of course I will. Now, wait a minute. Easy, Candy boy. Easy. No, it's okay. Take it easy.
Drink this, young man.
No. Drink it, Candy.
That'll make you feel better. Yeah, let him lie down again now.
All right. Where am I? You're in a drugstore, Candy, but you're okay. You just fainted.
Fainted?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Kent. It's you, isn't it, Kent?
Sure it is. Now, just you take it easy. Get your strength back.
Oh. Fainted. I don't remember.
He's doing all right now. Well, I've got to leave. I have a patient waiting. If you need me, ask the druggist to call me. I'll be right over.
I will. Thanks a million, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Who's that?
That's Dr. Jacobs. Oh, wait a minute, Doctor. I haven't paid you.
Don't worry about it. I'll send you bills sometime. Goodbye and good luck.
Goodbye.
I don't get it. Say I fainted, Kent?
Yes, you left the hospital today like a chump.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I was going to square things with Clint Morgan and his goons, but then I got kind of
Clint Morgan, the building commissioner?
Yeah, the dirt... No, it wasn't that Morgan. Some other guy.
Oh, cut it out, Candy. Cut it out. Now that Jim's missing, you've got to come clean with everything you know.
Jim?
Yes.
You mean Jim Olson?
I think he's in the hands of the same gang who beat you up last night.
Jumping Jemima.
So please, now, don't give me any more of that. This is strictly my own party routine. You've got to help me find Jim.
Yeah, sure, of course. Can't allow him to do anything for Jim. You know that, but... Well, what happened? Tell me.
Well, when you disappeared from the hospital this morning, I thought you'd been taken away by the gang who beat you up.
Uh-huh. Go on.
Well, from something you let slip, I was pretty sure that you were in trouble because you were investigating the cave-in on the new 9th Avenue subway tube.
I don't know how you figured that out, but you were right.
Well, I reasoned that you'd found out something about that cave-in. Something somebody didn't want you to.
Right again.
So while I tried to pick up your trail from the hospital, Jim and Lois went over to the cave-in to pick up some samples of the concrete. I had a hunch that the...
You said Lois.
Uh-huh.
Well, don't tell me she's missing, too.
Oh, no. She's all right. No, it's just Jim. You see, some men grabbed him when he was leaving with the stuff, threw him into a car, and got away with him.
Morgan. It must have been Clint Morgan. His guerrillas probably saw Jim sneaking the concrete samples.
No, it wasn't Morgan. Lois described the men, and while I don't know Morgan, I have seen him, and it wasn't he.
Well, of course not. I don't mean Morgan himself. It was his goons.
Oh.
I'm sure of it. Just like I'm sure they gave me the works last night.
Did you recognize them?
No, but I know it was. Because Morgan tried to hush me up when he found out I was all set to pin the rap for the subway cave-in on him. That was after I got a photostatic copy of the original engineer's report on the subway site, showing the fault in the rock before the tube was built.
What? You mean they knew they'd have trouble and
yes,
still went ahead?
Yes, sir, brother. But Morgan went through with the subway anyhow. Probably because he was getting a rake-off from the contractors.
Sure.
And then after the cave-in, when all those people were killed and hurt, he puts out a statement saying the fault had developed in the rock after the tube went through.
Wow, that is something. Look, Candy, you say you have a photostat of the original engineer's report?
I said I had it. Like a dope, I was carrying it with me last night to show you when Morgan's muscle men jumped me.
Well, here goes your evidence and your case.
Not quite.
Huh?
You see, it looks as if Morgan is still jumpy. Figuring if I smelled out the truth, somebody else might, too.
Why do you say that?
Because otherwise, when he saw Jim nosing around the cave-in, or his stooges did, they wouldn't bother getting him out of the way.
That could be. Oh, if I only knew where Morgan was.
At his office or his house.
No.
Come on,
He's gone.
Oh.
What's the matter?
Just a little woozy for a second. All right, let's go,
Well,
Joe.
just a minute, Candy. Morgan's out of town, and nobody apparently knows where he went.
Oh, baloney. He was in town yesterday morning. I
What?
saw him in his office. And he told me I told him to come clean or I'd bust him high, wide, and handsome.
Oh, well, that's the answer. That explains why he promptly left town on vacation for 3 weeks and didn't even tell the mayor where he was going.
No kidding.
Sure, he said he wanted complete rest and quiet.
Well, how do you like that, cutie? As soon as I left, he turned his dogs on me, then hopped out of town, so if I lived and squawked, he had himself an alibi.
Sure. Wait a minute. I think I can find out where he is. Look, Candy, you get a cab and go home. Oh, no, wait a minute. Better yet, go to my apartment. You'll be safe there.
Go home now?
Uh-huh.
Are you kidding?
Not at all. The doctor says you need rest.
The doctor can take the rest for me. Come on,
Well, look,
come on. Quit arguing and get going. We've got to find Jim.
Yeah, I know better than to argue with you. All right, come on.
Where?
First stop, City Hall.
Yes, Miss Myers, the commissioner's on vacation. Is there anything I can do for you? As his
The only
secretary,
thing you can do for us is tell us where he is.
Why, I don't know, Mr. Myers.
Don't give us that.
I tell you, I don't know. Mr. Morgan was very tired.
Yeah, but I know why he was so
Easy,
tired.
Candy, easy.
So he decided to take his vacation a little earlier than he'd planned.
I know why he did that, too. But where in blazes did he go?
No one knows where he is, Mr. Myers. All he told us, any of us, even his sister, with whom he makes his home, is that he was going fishing somewhere where he could have complete rest and no interruption.
Ain't that just peachy?
Candy, please. Now, look, Mr. Tyson, it isn't at all necessary that we see Mr. Morgan now.
Hey, are you kidding?
All we want to do is leave a message for him.
A message?
Now, wait a minute.
You can give it to him whenever he comes back.
Well,
You've gone nuts.
Will you be quiet, Candy, or must I pick you up by the scruff of the neck and deposit you outside?
Okay. I don't get it.
This is the message for Commissioner Morgan, Mr. Tyson. Just tell him... Get this now. Tell Mr. Morgan the frost kills the leaves, and the frost is expected early this year.
Huh? The frost kills the... Will you please repeat that, Mr. Kent?
I said the frost kills the leaves, and the frost is expected early this year. Very early. Have you got that?
Why, I guess, but what...
You tell Mr. Morgan the message is from Clark Kent of the Daily Planet. I'm sure he'll be very much interested.
Yes, sir, but...
Come on, Candy. Good day, Mr. Tyson.
Good day.
Now, wait. Come along.
No, listen, will you? Let go.
Will you lay down and come along?
What?
I know what I'm doing.
I think you're nuts.
Oh, Candy, you idiot. Almost gave the show away.
I tell you, you're nuts. Loco, off the rail. We come in here to find out where Morgan is so we can find Jim and...
Say, keep your voice down.
And you make with the wacky talk. The frost kills the leaves.
Will you hush up, please? Now, look. In just about half a minute, if all goes well, I'll have the answers.
You'll have what answers?
I'll know where Clint Morgan is. And maybe where Jim is, too.
Blankly, Candy Myers stares at Clark Kent as they stand in the corridor outside Building Commissioner Clint Morgan's office. What does Kent mean? We'll know more in a moment when we return for the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
You know, gang, Kellogg's Pep sure does have plenty on the ball. Pitches a winning game at breakfast every time. Just think of the scores you can chalk up for Pep. First, a bowl of Pep looks good, all cool and crisp and inviting. Every crunchy flake as light as a breeze and delicate as can be. Then you dig into your bowl of Pep with cool milk and sugar, and you get that golden toasted flavor, full whole wheat flavor, a cool, brisk flavor that's terrific. And does Kellogg's Pep score for prizes? Why, you get 3 different kinds of prizes, one or the other in each package. Either a bright-colored comic button picturing one of 18 famous comic strip characters to pin on your jacket or your beanie cap, or it'll be a colored cardboard model of a fighting plane, easy and fun to assemble. Just swap duplicates with the gang and collect all 7 model planes in the series. Or your next prize may be a full-color bird picture. There are 24 in all, each with a full description on the reverse side so that you'll really know a thing or two about birds. So start collecting all 3 kinds of these slick pet prizes. Today, ask Mom to get you Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal.
In the corridor of the City Hall outside Building Commissioner Clint Morgan's office, Clark Kent has just startled Candy Myers by saying...
Just about half a minute, Candy. If all goes well, I'll know where Clint Morgan is. And maybe where Jim is, too.
What? How will you know?
Never mind. Be quiet now. Here it comes.
Here what comes? What are you staring at the door for?
Candy, please.
Okay, but if you ask me, you've gone completely...
Wait a minute. Shh. Okay, I've got it.
Brother, I don't know what you got, but I know what you need. A straitjacket. Now, will you please tell me what...
Listen, I know where Clint Morgan is.
You do?
Yes. Tyson just called him to give him my message, as I knew he would. So...
How did you know he called him? We're out here in the hall.
Never mind how I know. Now, listen, you get over to the Daily Planet and wait for me or my phone call. Within 2 minutes, I'll be with Mr. Morgan. And if we guessed right, with Jim, too. So long now.
Kent! Wait! Kent! So help me. I think the guy's gone completely off his nut.
Shaking his head pityingly, Candy Myers watches Clark Kent hurry away around a bend in the corridor, unaware that Kent is Superman, and that as Superman he saw and heard enough through Commissioner Morgan's closed door to galvanize him into action. What did Kent hear? Will, whatever it is, lead him to Jim Olsen? Tomorrow's 10th episode is packed with action and suspense, so don't miss it. Tune in, same time, same station.
And remember, for breakfast, it's Kellogg's Pep.
For excitement, the adventures of Superman.
Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC comic magazines and is brought to you Monday through Friday at the same time by Kellogg's Pep, the Sunshine Cereal. Say, gang, when you line up all the famous names you know, you'll find Kellogg mighty near the top. That's Kellogg, the greatest name in cereals. And here are some of the good things Kellogg packs into each plump, tender biscuit of Kellogg shredded wheat. Flavor, natural nut-sweet flavor, toasted just right. Nutrition, fine whole wheat nourishment. And for economy, Kellogg packs 15 biscuits in every package. They're made to fit the bowl. Try them soon. You'll like Kellogg shredded wheat. And be sure to be with us tomorrow for the thrilling adventures of Superman. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
You are
speeding through the Turkish night on the Taurus Express. You were alone and unarmed. And somewhere on the train is a calm killer from whom you must escape.
Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and carefully contrived to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight we escape to Turkey, and the Taurus Express, which carries a shipment of death. As Harold Lamb told it in his exciting story, 3 Good Witnesses.
I took the Taurus Express that night because I was going home, back to the United States, back to California, and my routine job at the oil company. 2 days before, I'd given my final report to our State Department man in Istanbul, a negative report.
And Mr. Ward, your considered opinion is that there is no oil in this area?
Not enough to be worth drilling for, not at this late date. War'd be over before we could get out 10,000 barrels.
You're being optimistic, Mr. Ward. War isn't over yet. Who can say when it will be?
Well, that's true, but...
what does Arvark say?
He agrees with me completely. So does Wyndham, the British engineer. We're all agreed.
3 good witnesses, huh? Well, then that settles it.
What do you mean, 3 good witnesses?
Oh, that's an old saying out here in the Middle East. Come from the Arabs, I think. In their old law, the testimony of 3 independent and trustworthy witnesses was enough to establish the guilt or innocence of an accused person.
But why 3?
I suppose 2 witnesses to a crime might tell the same lie. But if 3 fellas tell the same story, well, it must be true.
Maybe. Now, I suppose the odds against 3 making up the same story would be high, but I don't know whether I'd like to trust my neck with that kind of justice.
Yeah, it is a little different from the justice back home in Chattahoochee County. I imagine you'll be wanting to get back to the States as soon as possible.
Indeed, I do.
Well, I can put you on the Taurus Express Wednesday. You'll be in Cairo by Saturday. Get an ATC plane that'll have you in Washington 3 days later.
Istanbul to Washington in less than a week. It's a small world, isn't it? So I was booked on the Taurus Express, leaving Istanbul on Wednesday night. I got to the station late, and as I walked down the long platform toward the first-class carriages, I sensed a tenseness in the crowd. First, I couldn't explain it. Then I noticed that the platform was alive with police. They stood at the door of every car, motionless, solemn-faced, carefully scrutinizing everyone who got aboard. And it seemed that everyone on that bustling platform was aware of them. I found my car near the front of the train. A policeman stood at the open door. I paused to verify the car number, and suddenly I heard a voice at my elbow.
I thought I had missed you.
A pair of arms twined around my neck. A pair of lips were kissing me. Pushed her away to try to see her face, but she clung to me. Tried to say something, but she kept talking so fast I couldn't get a word in.
How could you do this to me? To run off without even saying goodbye? I must be with you right up to the last minute, my darling.
At last I could see her. She was beautiful. Very young and very beautiful. Turkish or Greek, I couldn't tell which, but lovely.
Why? You must let me go on the train with you. See you safely to your compartment. I cannot bear it.
Madame, I'm afraid you're making a mistake.
Please, you must help me. I will explain.
But I...
Come, you will miss the train. I will see you safely on board. Come, hurry, so we may say our last goodbye in privacy.
This last was thrown over her shoulder to the policeman standing there. She pulled me up the steps into the car. He stared at us, but he said nothing. In a moment, we were standing in the deserted corridor.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank
you.
Now,
look here, young lady. What is all this?
It is the fault of those police standing up there. I could not get into the car alone.
But why not?
This is a first-class car. Only rich foreigners ride in first-class compartment. I could see by your clothes you were American. I knew you would help me.
But why did you want to get into this car, especially?
Because I...
Suddenly she stopped, and her eyes were riveted on something behind my back. I turned to see a swarthy young man staring at us from the other end of the car. He was dressed in the uniform of a train conductor. Slid open a compartment door. There was an almost imperceptible jerk of his head, and then the girl slipped past me and into the open room. The conductor slid the door shut after her.
Your number, sir?
Huh? Oh, yes, 12.
Yes, the next one. Here. If there is anything I can do for you, I shall be pleased. If you care to leave your ticket and passport with me, I shall be able to attend to Syrian customs without disturbing you later.
As he talked, his eyes were not on me. He was watching the slow progress of a policeman through the car. The officer was walking by, glancing into each compartment. When he came opposite us, he spoke to the conductor.
Polikala.
Conductor was standing squarely in front of the door of the girl's compartment, hiding her from view. Policeman walked on. In a moment, he had disappeared.
Thank you, sir. I shall not disturb you.
I went into my compartment. My bags were already there. The train was about to leave. Everything was in order. But I couldn't help wondering about the incident I just witnessed. About the girl I'd involuntarily hemped and the conductor. Wondered about all those police out there. Obviously, something was going on. Then I remembered. This was Istanbul, a gateway to the Middle East. It was supposed to be alive with acts of spies. Could that girl be... Then I laughed. Just my overage, stay-at-home mind imagining things. Then suddenly I heard a voice in the corridor outside.
What's the big idea?
The voice was unmistakably American and music to my ears. I jumped to my feet and stepped into the corridor. There outside the next compartment was a young man, in civilian clothes, carrying a small bag and a briefcase. The swarthy conductor was approaching him with a worried look.
How about this, huh? There's a dame in my compartment.
Beg pardon, sir. There must be a mistake. This is compartment number 10.
Naturally. You think I can't read? Number 10, that's mine.
But number 10 is not sold. It is not marked on my list.
The heck it isn't. I've got the ticket right here. What's with the dame?
Please, not so loud.
I don't get this.
I beg your pardon. Can I be of any help?
Oh, you're an American, too.
Yep. Humphrey Ward, Los Angeles.
Tom Hatfield.
Glad to know you.
Look, what's with the dame? Do you know?
No, I'm afraid
Please, gentlemen, step into the compartment, please.
But the girl...
Please. In. Yes?
Okay.
Well,
Please.
Oh, all right.
Pasaria. Apisema natukamo.
Hey, wait a minute. Talk English. What's all this about, anyway?
It is... I am embarrassed, sir.
You're embarrassed. I buy a ticket and find a dame in my compartment. Of course, on closer inspection, maybe I'm not so mad after all. She looks like a good deal.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you do speak English, huh?
Sir, the policeman will come by, maybe look in. I must ask of you a favor.
Yeah?
If she could stay here just until the train has started, she will not bother you after that.
Why can't she stay in her own compartment?
Please, sir, I have no place else to put her. All the other places are taken.
Oh, she's a deadhead, huh?
Deadhead?
No ticket. Stowaway.
It is something like that.
Oh, what's the setup? She your girlfriend?
No, it is not like that. It is... You see, we are both Macedonian. She is escaping from the Nazis. She wants to go to Cairo to join the nurse corps.
Oh?
She has been for 2 years in Greece, under the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
She is a real patriot. If you will help her...
Well, maybe if you introduced us and let her speak for herself.
She is called Maradalas.
Well, let's make it Mary for short. Mary the Deadhead. Hi, Mary.
Hi. You're okay.
Get her. She talks American.
I spent 2 years at the American school at Thessalonica. I work with Red Cross in Greece during the fighting.
Right so?
I like Americans. I want to go to United States.
Who doesn't?
I want to learn to be a real nurse. You will help me. Americans are always kind.
Mm-hmm.
This gentleman here, he helped me get on the train.
Naturally.
Now you will help me. Okay?
Okay.
Oh, thank you, sir. Now, I must go before the policeman gets suspicious.
Gee, this may turn out to be a pleasure.
Looks like you don't need me. I'm in the next compartment. Maybe we'll get together later.
Sure. I'd offer you a seat, but we're sort of crowded already. Mary and me.
I went back to my seat laughing mostly at the silly idea I'd had that maybe Mary the Deadhead and her conductor friend were spies of some sort. Obviously, they were harmless as I was. And that was completely harmless, confound it. I looked out the window as the train slid out of the station. Leaving Turkey, leaving the war, going home. Back to complacent safety. Men were out here fighting and dying. They'd get no help from me. Me, overage and useless. I felt pretty sorry for myself. It wasn't until the next day that I began to get acquainted with my fellow passengers. Mary, the deadhead, was riding on the conductor's jump seat at the end of the car. The Ruvians, an Armenian couple, were in 14, the compartment next to mine. Young Tom Hatfield was on the other side of me. And two Greek refugees, Mr. Chiniara and Mr. Drikar, were next to him in 8. Hatfield kept pretty much out of sight all day, and it was Mr. Chiniara who shared a table with me at dinner that night. I didn't much care for him, but he was somebody to talk to.
You Americans, you do not realize how lucky you are.
No, I suppose not.
You do not know what it is to be safe. Just look around you. Almost all the passengers on this express are refugees. All of them would pay much to be going to the United States as you are.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But yes. Where else is there any security for us? But you, sir, and your young friend are already secure. Wherever you go, you are always safe. But it is not so for us.
Yeah, I suppose we do take a lot for granted, and... Oh, here's Mr. Hatfield now. Hatfield, won't you join us?
Thanks, no. I'll just sit over
no,
there.
I insist. I was just leaving. You must join your friend.
Oh, really? There's no need?
Insist, please.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chiniara. It's been a pleasure.
And for me, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Take it easy.
Well, I haven't seen much of you today. Been resting, eh?
Something like that. You ordered?
Yes, I'll call the waiter.
Never mind. He'll be back. Who's your slick-haired friend?
Oh, Mr. Chiniara? He's a Greek refugee, just escaped from the Nazis.
Everybody out here just escaped from the Nazis.
He was saying how lucky we are to be Americans. Guess I don't see many of us in Turkey these days.
I guess not.
Haven't seen many of us myself. Funny, I didn't run into you in Istanbul.
I wasn't there, just passing through.
Oh. No, I thought I'd have met you at the American Mission or somewhere.
No.
Well, I'm out here at the State Department. Oil. But I didn't have much luck. I'm going home now.
Too bad.
Plenty of things for us Americans to do out here, though. Like, oil and other things, you know. Of course, they give the unimportant stuff to has-beens like me. Leave the good stuff for young fellows like you.
Okay, Mr. Ward.
Huh? What?
Okay. I'm Tom Hatfield, Frankfort, Kentucky. White, Protestant, 26, unmarried. No, I'm not a draft dodger, and no, I'm not AWOL. And yes, I'm here on business, which is none of yours. I'm a captain in the Air Force. 2 years overseas. You might say officially I'm on a holiday. The fact is, I'm taking this train to Adana, where I get off at 5 tomorrow morning, cross the border, and catch a plane that's waiting to take me to Cairo. Anything else you want to know?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Sit down. I'm sorry. I guess I'm getting on my own nerves. Forget it, will you?
Oh, it's nothing. You needn't think that...
Riding on trains is kind of bad for a flyer. Makes me jumpy.
I understand. But you must have already been through a lot. I do understand. I was in France in 1918. I know what it's like.
Maybe you know better than I do.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, but I envy you. I'd give anything to be in it.
You're lucky you're not.
Oh, I know. It's no fun being old and useless like me either. I envy you. I can tell you're doing something important.
You can? How?
By the way, you're so careful with that briefcase. Carry it around with you all the time. You got it on your lap now. Probably got something important in it. Dispatches or something.
So you noticed that, did you? Well, I hope nobody else on this train is so observant, Mr. Ward.
Oh, you're pulling my leg. What difference would it make, anyway?
You can never tell. On a train like this, out here, you never know.
Oh, you mean spies?
Well,
But why? I haven't seen anyone who looks suspicious.
Spies are never suspicious looking, Mr. Ward. They're anybody. Anybody who wants to make a quick buck and doesn't care how he does it. This train is alive with people like that.
Oh, yeah, but who?
Well, just take, for instance, Mary, the deadhead. She's young and pretty, yes. But she's broke. And her shifty-eyed boyfriend, the conductor.
Oh, but they're Greeks. She's a refugee.
So she says. But didn't it seem strange to you that he put her in my compartment by mistake? My name wasn't on the list, so he said. Were you satisfied with her story?
Well, for a moment I was suspicious, but...
You can't take too much for granted. Now, for instance, the story I just told you. I might be a spy, mightn't I? That whole thing might be hogwash.
Well, no. You're American. I know that. Who else would say hogwash?
No matter. I could be an American trader. There are such things.
Oh, but that...
Or you might be the spot. Yeah, they even look like you. Meek and mild. Casper Milquetoast. And their cover stories are pips. Like telling you they're out here looking for oil. They strike up a conversation, ask questions, and notice briefcases.
Oh, but look here. Surely you don't think...
No, I don't think anything. I only say, you never can tell, Mr. Ward.
Of course he was kidding me, pulling my leg. But I didn't really mind. I liked him. And he had a right to be cocky and flip. He was doing something for the war effort. Even though I knew he was kidding me, I went to bed thinking about spies and fell asleep dreaming of them. Then very suddenly, I woke with a terrible sense of urgency. There was something that I must do. I looked at my watch. It was 10 minutes to 5. The train was dark. Everything was quiet. And yet, I felt I had to get up. I started to put on my clothes. It didn't make sense, but then I remembered. It was Tom Hatfield, not me, who had to get up at 5, leave the train at Adana to cross the border into Syria and take his plane. Those dispatches must be important. If he had to change to a fast plane as soon as he got out of neutral Turkey. When I stepped out into the dimly lit corridor, it was deserted. I knocked on Hatfield's door. No answer. I tried the handle. The door slid open into darkness. Something was wrong. I switched on the light and went in. Tom Hatfield lay there in the bunk asleep. Hey, Hatfield! Rise and shine. We're coming into Adana. You've got to get off. I shook him. He didn't move. Then I saw blood on his pillow and on his head. I looked around quickly. The briefcase was gone. Kevorkian! Kevorkian!
Is something wrong, sir?
Did either of you see anybody go into number 10?
No, nobody. Who should go?
Look, do you have keys to the doors?
But no, there are no keys. They lock from the inside, a sliding bolt and chain. Nobody can get in once they are locked.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew Tom Hatfield would have locked that door. Somebody must have gotten in some other way and left that corridor door open as a false clue. But how? Then I noticed the door which connected to number 8. I tried it. It was locked. This didn't make sense. But through my mind was racing one thought. American dispatches have been stolen. Tom Hatfield is out. It's up to me. I searched the room. I found an automatic under the mattress, but no briefcase. I heard the train start up again. We were leaving Adana. I looked again at the connecting door. Then I got it. The bolt was fastened on the other side of that door, but on this side it was not. That meant that someone could have come in through number 8. I knocked on the door. I heard a movement, and then the bolt slid back and the door swung open. I was face to face with Mr. Chiniara, and he was staring at the gun in my hand.
What is it? What is that for?
The briefcase. The bag of my friends. Is it here?
Briefcase? Bag? Oh, we have here only our valises.
This door has been opened. Something is missing.
Oh, if you have lost something, I pray you to look. I know nothing of it. Come in, please, and look.
All right, I will. I'm not accusing anyone, but I just want to be sure that... Oh! Next thing I felt was a stinging coldness on my face, rushing of wind. I realized that I was hanging half out of the window of the car. It was shoving me out of the train. Savagely, I kicked. I felt something give, and I pushed myself back and slid down onto the floor. I felt something hard under me. The gun. In the dim compartment, I saw them coming at me. Chiniara and Drika. I raised the gun.
What is it? What has happened?
Oh, look! On the floor.
Shut the door quickly.
Are they...
Wait, let me look. Yes. Both of them. Finish.
They took the briefcase. I'm sure they did.
Hey, who's shooting up the place?
Hatfield.
Holy cow, will you look at that? What's happened?
Well, the briefcase. It's here someplace. I'm sure it is.
Hey, wait a minute, fella. You're all banged up here. Looks like we both got bumped. Here, sit down. You'll need a drink. Mary, you'll find a pint in my bag. Bring it in here, will you?
But they got the papers. We ought to look.
They did.
Yeah, the briefcase isn't here. I don't see it.
Oh, there wasn't anything in that briefcase except some old Istanbul newspapers. They probably threw it out the window. Back at Hyder Pasha, a Britisher I know warned me to be careful on this trip. I put my classified material someplace else.
Oh, but then that means I killed 2 men without any cause. Without a shred of evidence to back up my story.
How we waste time. Quick, the Syrian border police got on the train at Adana. They might be here any minute. Now, who is dead here?
Mary, the deadhead, took me into Hatfield's room and carefully administered first aid to my cuts and bruises. But Kevorkian and Hatfield were busy in number 8. What are they doing?
Never mind. Pay no attention.
But they're throwing the bodies out of the window.
Think not of it, please. Kevorkian is a Macedonian. When he fought the Germans at Thessalonica, he threw bodies over the cliffs. He knows what he is doing.
Oh,
but you are a brave man, too. Even if you are not Macedonian. You would be judgment tried for 2-3 years in spite of your age and your innocence. It is better to have no bodies.
What's that?
Be quiet now. The border police.
Well, we got the room cleaned up just in time.
She has their passport. I forgot.
No, they are not here.
I can tell you about Geniara and Rika. This man here, Mr. Ward, he is American general in disguise, Secret Service. He put Geniara and Rika off at Adana with pistols. They were spies.
Good heavens, you'll never believe that.
Never mind. This man is a Syrian. He does not care what happens in Turkey. But do you have any Syrian money?
Oh, yes. Here, in my wallet.
Good. Give it to me. Thank you. Now, come with me, Sergeant.
Do not worry now, Mr. Ward. In a moment, Kevorkian will have those passports. We will throw them out the window, and there will be no trace.
And to think, Mary, I thought you might be drawing down an Axis paycheck.
It is no matter. Now we are out of Turkey. And before long, I can go to United States.
Baby, that might not be so easy. You've got no money, no passport, no transportation through the combat zones.
Never mind. I shall do it. I walk to here from Macedonia. I can walk all the way. Like St. Paul in the Bible walked to Rome.
Well, I wish you luck, but you'll have a time getting by British control at Aleppo. You can't smuggle a pack of cigarettes past them.
Oh, but what about me? What about a murderer?
I don't know. We'll see.
It was morning when the train pulled into Aleppo, the station where British control came on. Trip had been pretty awful, with Tom trying to act as if nothing had happened, and with me staring into that empty room, imagining Chiniara and Rika sitting there staring back at me. Maybe they had been spies, maybe not. Now they were dead, and I was in trouble. We knew that the minute the train stopped. A soldier stood outside our windows and said,
"Look here. Everyone remains in his place in this car."
We waited silently for many minutes. Then a British major in khaki shorts stepped in. Behind him I saw Kevorkian and Mary the Deadhead standing in the doorway.
Good morning, I'm Radcliffe. I'm looking for 2 missing passengers identified as Greeks, Chiniara and Rika by name. Oh, come now, they seem to have been in the next compartment. And here. What became of them?
Were there 2?
Young lady.
Yes, sir?
You weren't in number 8, were you? You don't seem to have any other place. Nor a Syrian entrance visa.
Please. I sat down in the corridor.
It's quiet. Conductor, don't you remember 2 passengers booked through to Aleppo? One was a stout man, bookseller, who escaped from Greece 10 days ago. The other was...
those. They descended from the car at Adana. One was fat with slick hair, and the other...
yes. Really? I say, isn't that a bullet hole in the wall up there? And you, sir, Mr. Ward, isn't it? How did you hurt your forehead?
An accident. I bumped into...
Oh, yes, quite. I should tell you that the Armenian couple in number 14 heard shots just after passing Adana. They were so frightened they locked themselves in until now.
It's no use. I shot them. Both of them. They hit me first.
Please realize that I'm not joking. My orders are to find those 2 pseudo-Greeks wherever they may be.
Wait a minute. You said pseudo-Greeks?
You mean, Major, you want to find them?
And how, as you Americans say.
But why?
Because we're advised by Istanbul that certain Axis agents have been working out of the Balkans with identification as refugees. These two, Chiniara and Dikar, were on this train. Our man on the train saw them throw something out at Adana. They hardly threw themselves out.
No, we did that. Your man at Haida Pasha tipped me off to expect trouble.
Really?
So they were agents.
Certainly they were spies. I knew that. No Greek would be fat like Chiniara after only 1 week escape from the Germans.
And no Greek would have hair oil from Paris.
Well, that being the case, will somebody start telling the truth?
I will. This Myers little gentleman, knowing nothing of the war and fighting, he killed you 2 men in a gunfight. How you say, like nobody business. And now, please, he is still suffering from shock. So will you please give him a plane direct to Cairo where he can rest? And this American courier, he is late with dispatches. He must have a place in the plane too. And since I cannot enter Syria without a passport, will you please put me also on the plane? Because in Cairo, I can get a job as a nurse with the Ella Greeks from Macedonia who are there. And maybe God will then give me a way to go to America, like he passed St. Paul through the Taurus Gate. Is it a deal, Major? 3 places on the first plane, and you have your men like the Royal Canadian Hoosies, only dead.
The plane could be arranged, of course, if...
All right, Mr. Ward. Tell him. Tell him.
With the eyes of that amazing girl on me, my courage came back. I told him my story, completely, in every detail. He listened carefully and took it all down on his pad, and afterwards he said...
That story, Mr. Ward, is not one bit of evidence to support it. By your own statement, the evidence is buried in the snow on the slopes of the Taurus Mountains.
Nuts. I tell you, I helped check it out.
And I examined the 2 men. I am a trained nurse, and I said they were dead.
And for identification, I, a soldier of Macedonia, can swear that their passports were the men you say.
Very well. I'll ring the aerodrome. The evidence of 3 good witnesses is sufficient.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight brought you 3 Good Witnesses by Harold Lamb, adapted for radio by John Dunkel, with Morgan Farley as Humphrey Ward, Jack Webb as Tom Hatfield, Jeanette Nolan as Mary the Deadhead, and Harry Bartell as Kevorkian. Music was conceived and conducted by Cy Fure. Beginning next Sunday night, Escape will be heard at a new hour, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Next Sunday night, we escape with another exciting adventure story, created for you by one of the world's great authors.
Good night, then, until 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Sunday night, when again we offer you Escape. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invite you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett. Space Cadet. Stand by to raise ship. Blast off minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
500 million miles out in the cold, black depths of space, a small rocket scout blasts across the invisible path marking the orbit of Jupiter on course to Earth. In the narrow cylindrical cockpit forward near the nose of the silvery ship, the pilot transmits a routine teleceiver call across the void. And in a small metal hut on Mars, the sleepy-eyed operator shakes himself awake as the call crackles in his earphones.
Space Station M5 from Rocket Scout 4J9. Come in.
Rocket Scout 4J9 from Space Station M5. Go ahead.
4J9, Space Mail Service, direct colony to Earth.
Position.
Crossing orbit of Jupiter, northwest 100, 5 degrees over plane of the ecliptic. Holding course 160. Doesn't believe it.
Parker, what's wrong with you? Parker, come in. Hello, Parker. Can you hear me? Parker. Rocket Scout 4J9 from Space Station M5. Come in. Great, Ganymede. M5 to all space stations. M5 to all space stations. Stand by. Disaster alert. Stand by.
Here's the story, Captain Strong. 2 days ago, Captain Mitch Parker was inbound from Titan on the Earth-Titan mail run. He made routine teleceiver contact with Space Station M5 on Mars to get position and standard data. Suddenly, contact was broken for some unknown reason. We haven't been able to raise him since.
Any search operations underway, Commander Arkwright?
Of course. I sent all patrol ships into the area immediately. Even pulled rocket liners and space freighters off orbit. But they haven't found a trace of Parker or his ship.
Well, it's only been 2 days, sir.
I realize that. The ships that are looking for Parker now have to be released. I'm organizing a full-scale rescue operation to begin tomorrow. Do you think your cadet crew is experienced enough for an assignment like this?
For the Polaris crew? Of course, sir.
It'll be a long and difficult search, Strong. Even dangerous.
Don't worry about them, sir. Tom Corbett, Astro, and Roger Manning are the best cadets in the Academy. In spirit, teamwork, and cooperation, they excel at...
Oh, excuse me, Strong.
Yes, sir.
Come in.
Polaris unit reporting, sir.
Great Jupiter. Tom, what happened to you?
What happened to all of them? They look like they've been through a reaction chamber.
Well, Tom?
The officer of the day told us to report to you for disciplinary action, Commander Arkwright.
Disciplinary action? What's the charge?
We're charged with fighting and wrecking the furniture in our dormitory, sir.
I see. Well, Captain Strong, so this is your Polaris crew. Is this what you call teamwork, spirit, and cooperation?
Well, boys, I managed to square it with Commander Arkwright for you. He won't take any disciplinary action until this mission is over.
Oh, that's great, Captain Strong. Swell. I knew you'd come through for us.
But now I want to know what this is all about.
Why,
Who started it this time? Well, I'm waiting for an answer.
Sir, I think I can explain.
I'd be interested in something like that, Corbett. Well?
Astro and Roger had a difference of opinion, and I tried to settle it, and Roger disagreed with me, and Astro disagreed too, and, well, I disagreed with both of them, and the next thing I knew, the bunk fell on Astro and the table was knocked over, and...
And you just tore your uniform, and Roger happened to grow that black eye, and Astro accidentally cut his lip.
I guess so.
All right. Now get this, all of it. The next time I catch the three of you fighting, I'm going to make earthworms out of you. You'll do all your rocketeering in the mess hall with a bucket and mop. You understand?
Right, Captain.
All right. Dismissed. Oh, what a crew. Captain Strong here.
This is Commander Arkwright.
Oh, yes, sir.
Alert your crew for immediate blast-off.
Immediate? But I thought you said...
One of the space freighters found a trace of reaction mass between Jupiter and the asteroid belt.
From Parker's ship?
No way of telling yet. But if he jettisons his fuel, he may be in serious trouble and completely helpless. You've got to work fast if you're going to save him.
We'll return to the exciting exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
Listen to this jet plane streak through the air. That's a Republic Thunderjet up on a test flight. Jets like that are pioneers of the sky, leading the way to the air age of tomorrow. And the men who fly those jets are pioneers, too, blazing a trail for youth to follow. Would you be able to fly a jet? Well, maybe not right now, but you can build yourself up so that you'll be ready when the time comes. And one important thing to do right now is to have a good, nourishing breakfast every single morning with Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal. Then, while you're thinking about flying jets, you can be taking on the builder-upper food values that jet pilots must have to do a good job. So start now. Eat plenty of Kellogg's Pep. Get all the strength and muscle-building food values that Pep can give you. And say, when you taste that swell Pep flavor, you want a second bowlful. Ask Mom to get the better-than-ever build-up cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep. And listen for news about the swell prize you get in every package of Kellogg's Pep in just a few minutes.
Attention, crew. We've cleared Earth's atmosphere on course to asteroid belt.
The giant search operation has begun. The search through the vast reaches of space for a missing rocket scout. And now, as the rocket cruiser Polaris blasts through the void at full space speed, Captain Strong briefs his cadet crew.
Now, according to the last report from Central Control, traces of reaction mass have been found near the asteroid belt. Mass that might have been jettisoned from Captain Parker's ship.
Jettisoned, Captain? Or would there have been a leak in the hull?
Well, that remains to be seen. In any case, the Vega, the Hydra, and the 3 rocket destroyers are already tracking down the mass. We're going to take a shortcut.
What do you mean, shortcut, sir?
Corbett, if you were on a rocket scout ship and developed trouble, what would you do?
Well, if I couldn't repair it in space, I'd call for help.
You'd need it. Cut that, Manning. Now, if your communications were destroyed, what would you do?
Well, I'd try to set down somewhere and see if I could repair her.
Right. Now, wouldn't it be logical to assume that that's what Captain Parker did?
But where could he land, sir? The only space junk of any size around here is in the asteroid belt.
Right, Astro. And we're going to go through the asteroid belt and look for him.
Through it? Oh, brother, this is going to be rough.
No, rough isn't the word, Manning, but I think it's our best bet.
I guess you're right, Captain.
If the ship can take it, we can, sir.
All right. You can relax for a while now. Maintain your usual 4-hour deck watches until we reach our search position. I'm going topside to contact Commander Arkwright for further orders. And, by the way, in case you don't remember, Academy regulations hold good on shipboard. No fighting.
Yes, sir.
Lucky thing for you guys.
What do you mean, Roger?
That no fighting order. I'd like to wrap you guys up good.
Oh, now listen, Roger. Have you still got that chip on your shoulder? Let's forget it. We were all off our orbit.
No, Junior, only you. We're all in the same unit, so I have to ride along with you. But that doesn't mean I like
Why, you big sorehead.
Hold it,
Astro. Look, for the last time, Roger, you're making too much of this. Astro didn't mean what he said, and neither did I. So how about shaking hands and forgetting it?
Tom is willing. So am I.
Fellas, I got a hot space flash for you. Go blow your jets.
Control deck to radar bridge. Check in.
Radar bridge high.
How are we doing, Manning?
Moving into the asteroid belt, sir. Pretty thick out there. My scanner screen's lit up like a Christmas tree.
Don't worry about the small pieces of space junk. We can shed those. It's the big stuff we have to avoid.
But don't worry, sir. I can play tag with these asteroids all day.
Now, don't get smart, Manning. One of those chunks of iron can rip a hole in our side and tear us apart. End transmission. Now, Tom, call Astro. Tell him to cut down to 1/4.
Aye, sir. Control deck to power deck.
Power deck aye.
Astro, cut space speed 1/4. We're going to cut straight across the asteroid belt.
1/4 space speed, aye.
Tom, turn on the magnoscope and watch every passing asteroid big enough to hold a spaceship.
Aye, sir.
We're taking a long chance on a slim hope.
Radar bridge control deck. There's a big one bearing down on us. Shift steering vanes 2.2 starboard, 1 degree up.
Hear that, Astro?
Got it, Tom.
Steering vane set. Give us a short blast, Astro.
Right.
There she goes, sir. We missed her.
Get a good look at it, Tom.
Yes, sir. There was No ship on that space, hobo.
They're coming fast, Captain Strong. Two of them bearing down on us. You'll have to walk a tightrope between them. Hold steering vanes 1.6 to port.
Steering vanes set. Blast away, Astro.
Hang on.
Oh, that was a little too close.
No rocket ship on either one of those babies, sir.
Oh, this is a space-happy thing to do, but we're too deep in it now to turn back. I'm risking 4 lives and a rocket cruiser on a 1,000,000 to 1 shot.
If we find Captain Parker, it'll be worth it, sir.
Sure, but will our luck hold out?
Radar bridge control deck. Here comes the daddy of them all. Swinger wide. 12.4 degrees to port, 5 degrees up.
12.4 degrees to port, 5 degrees up. Astro, don't spare the neutrons. A long blast this time.
Hold tight. Opening up.
Are we clearing it?
Yes, sir. Hold on. Here comes another one. We can't touch this one. Brace yourself for crash. Brace yourself.
Oh, Tom, are you all right?
I'm seeing stars of the 5th magnitude.
Yeah, I'm seeing a few myself. You better call Astro and Roger.
Aye, sir. Control deck to power deck. Check in.
Check in. I'm ready to check out.
Astro's okay, sir.
All right, Astro. Go over the power deck for damage.
Aye, sir.
Control deck to radar bridge. Check in. Any damage up there?
Now, that's a real intelligent question. We get clobbered up by a meteor and he asks if there's any damage. Tell the skipper all our communications are out. Scanners, teleceiver, radar, scopes, everything.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not. So it looks like we're sitting pretty, doesn't it? Flying through the asteroid belt, completely blind.
Well, boys, I've checked the ship completely. Outside of the blackout on the radar bridge, we're still in one piece.
Yeah, but how about that blackout, sir? We're sitting ducks for every piece of space junk in the belt.
Well, not since we've cut our power, Roger. We're drifting in a steady orbit now, along with all the other space junk. Chances are we won't be hit, unless we try to break out.
Yeah, but if we don't break out, Skipper, we'll drift around in this junkyard forever. We can't even call for help.
Well, the damage is to the antenna and the main power relay. The relay can be fixed up inside the ship, but the antenna means a trip outside on the hull.
Oh, brother, nothing I like better than waltzing around in space.
Well, start practicing right now, then, Roger. You, Astro, and I are going outside. Tom, you'll stay in here and work on the relay.
Aye, sir.
All right. Suit up, boys, and meet me in the airlock in 2 minutes.
Here, Roger. Let me help you with your helmet.
Don't bother, I can do it myself.
All right, hot shot. Have it your way.
And listen, you be careful you don't fall off the hull. I don't feel like fishing you out of space.
All right, boys. Now that you've got your fish bowls on, check your oxygen tanks for twice normal pressure.
Oxygen check. Okay, sir. Okay, here too, sir.
Right. Let's go. Open the portal, Astro.
Inner portal closed, sir.
Equalize pressure.
Pressure equalized, sir.
Open the outer portal, Manning.
Aye, sir.
Let's
Open,
go.
sir.
Hook up your static lines as soon as you're on the hull. And remember, keep your magnetic boots flat against the hull.
Hello, Astro. Manning, check in.
What do you want, Junior?
What's taking so long? What's going on out there, Roger?
We're playing marbles with these pieces of space junk. Go back to your building up and don't bother us.
Hand me that wrench, Astro, and those adapters.
Right, sir. But what's happened to all the space junk? Seems awful empty out here.
Yeah, we may have drifted through the worst of it.
I don't know. It's too quiet after all the battering we took.
Hand me that number 3 adapter, Astro.
Yes, sir. You know, I'll never get used to working upside down like this and not falling off.
Free fall has its advantages. And one of them It's having no weight.
Captain Strong! Astro, get down! Quick! Here comes the meteor! Get down!
By the craters of Luna, that was a close one. Yes, too close. Now listen, Manning. If you'd stop gassing so much and keep your eyes peeled with... Roger.
Captain Strong, the static line is torn. Look, he's off the ship. He's drifting out into space.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment, so stand by.
It's here. Yes, it's here. A brand new, exciting new premium in every package of Kellogg's Pep. And it's waiting for you right this instant at your grocery store.
That's right, boys and girls. In every box of Kellogg's Pep, there's a magic moving picture eye. The magic eye is a gleaming plastic disc. And right in the center, there's an exciting picture. When you tilt the magic eye back and forth, the picture actually starts moving. There are pictures of planes, trains, and TV and movie stars like Tom Corbett and Bob Hope of Paramount Pictures and The Bob Hope Show.
Yes, sir. Every magic eye has a picture that's packed with famous people in action. You can collect as many as 16 different magic eyes. 16 different pictures altogether. So easy to get, too. There's one waiting for you now, free, at no extra cost, in every single package of Kellogg's Pep. You'd better start your collection today.
Remember, for your magic eye, ask Mom to buy P.E.P. Pep.
Rocket cruiser Polaris making emergency repairs in space, Roger Manning is suddenly swept off and sent spinning helplessly into the void.
Look, Captain Strong, there he goes, drifting down along the hull.
Listen, Astro, call Tom. Quick, tell him to bring out a body jet. Hurry. I'm going down to the fins. Maybe I can catch him.
Right, sir. Hello, Tom. Tom, come in.
Right here, Astro. How's it going?
Listen, Roger's been knocked off the ship. He's drifting out in space.
Great jumping Jupiter.
Captain Strong wants you to bring out a body jet.
Oh, no. By the time I suit up and get out there with a body jet, Roger will be out of sight. We'll never find him.
What else can we do?
Wait. I've got an idea. I'm going to maneuver the ship toward him.
You're what?
Hang on out there. I'm firing up our rocket.
Oh, brother. Spaceman's luck, pal.
Who fired our rockets?
Tom did, sir. He's maneuvering the ship toward Roger. He figures it's Roger's only chance.
Oh, that's risky. He might fry Roger in the exhaust blast. No, but maybe it's the better gamble.
Better hold on, sir. I'm starting to cut around.
Hello, Tom. Come in.
Yes, sir.
Watch your heading. Don't over-control or you'll spin us completely around.
Doing my best.
Now, ease off now. Hold her straight and level as you can. You're heading right for Roger.
Do it, Astro. We have to get him on the first pass, sir.
I know. And we'll do it. You've cut your power. Now, let her drift.
Right, sir.
Captain Strong, we're going to miss him. We're going to miss him by at least 10 feet.
Blast it. Tom, quick.
Oh, wait a minute, sir. Play out my static line. I'm going to push off and try to grab him.
Wait, Astro.
Hang on to my line, sir. Here I go.
How's Roger now, Captain Strong? Will he be okay?
Yes, Tom, he'll be all right. Just suffering from shock. Those blood pills will fix him up fine.
Hey, he's coming out of it.
What's going on here? What am I doing in this bunk?
You were knocked off the ship, Roger.
Me?
Uh-huh, and we had to fish you out of space.
You're full of meteor dust.
Well, it's the truth, Manning. If it hadn't been for Tom and Astro, you'd be a part of the asteroid belt now. Just another piece of space junk.
Yeah, I suppose I would. Tom and Astro,
That's right, Manning. Now, you just rest there. I'm going topside and start plotting our course out of here. Tom? Astro? You stay with him.
I don't need anybody staying with me. I'm okay.
You're not getting out of that bunk. We need all personnel in top condition. But don't forget, we still have to find Captain Parker. I'll see you later, boys.
You want something, Roger?
No, well, tell me something.
Yeah?
What did we have that fight about?
Uh-oh, here we go again. Does it make that much difference, Roger?
No, that's what I was driving at. It doesn't make any difference at all. And, well, I'm not very good at saying these things, but what you guys did for me and all,
cut it out, will you, Manning? You'll have me crying.
Yeah, relax and act natural, will you?
Go blow your jets.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom, Corbett, and the Space Cadets on Thursday, when the search for Captain Parker and the missing rocket scout is resumed, and the boys rocket into danger. Tune in, same time, same station, for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett. Space Cadets. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal. Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in the cast are Al Markham as Astro, Jan Merlin as Roger Manning, and Edward Bryce as Captain Strong. Today's program was written by Jack Weinstock and Willie Gilbert, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret. In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes, both fruit and cereal, all in one box. And no other raisin brand but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's.